What's your message to voters to communicate that, hey, look at your options, take a look at my background, give me a shot?
Mr. Anderson, 3 minutes.
Well, practically speaking, look, I recognize that I don't have universal name ID. If you don't know who I am, that doesn't make you weird. I don't normally seek the spotlight. We got started early because I needed the runway. I announced my campaign in March. We were up in Shreveport in February. I knew that I needed the runway. And in Louisiana, for whatever reason, campaigns start at filing, and that always favors the establishment candidate. It always favors the candidate with money or name recognition. So that was the first thing that I did from a practical standpoint. But from a messaging standpoint, what I've told people is, look, my background is often helping politicians and political organizations frame their messaging, how they can, not speak to the proverbial choir, but actually speak to more than just progressives as they try to get things done. And in that work, I've worked alongside a lot of politicians. And what you learn, whether you're in City Hall, the State House, or Congress, is that time equals seniority and seniority equals influence. And often districts like ours, whether it's at the federal, state, or local level, majority black districts are represented by longtime politicians, people who've been there 20, 30, sometimes 40 years. And these are, in politics, that equals cachet. That usually means that you're the chairman of something. You get to dictate the terms of some of these bills. And yet, it is often our districts, the ones that are represented by longtime politicians, sometimes chairmen of powerful committees, that are the ones that see the most disinvestment, that are the ones where schools are closing down, that are the ones where the roads look like crap. Why is that? Is it because these politicians aren't accruing political capital? No, they absolutely are. That's how they're becoming chairmen of committees. But what they know, and what unfortunately we know in our community, is a history of disappointment. And they know they can go back to our communities and tell them, man, you know how them white folks are. I tried my best, but I just couldn't do it. But that's not true. What they're doing is they're cutting deals that are bad for the community, good for them personally, and end up setting us back. So my message to voters has been, if that's the sort of representation that you want, then sure, vote for the guy that you've been voting for the last 30 years, for the guy that somehow says that he's picking up where he left off 30 years ago, despite the fact that that's not how Congress works.
1 minute left.
If you actually want representation that's going to represent your interests, then vote for the candidates that are actually asking you for your vote. Vote for the candidates that are actually answering questions, that actually have positions on issues. Don't vote for a mystery box just because it's always been in the kitchen. Vote for somebody that's actually answering the questions that relate to your interests, your community's interests, and your children's interests. And I think that that's what we've done. We've been campaigning. Not everybody has. Don't vote for somebody that isn't.